What's the latest Treasury bill rate for this week? This week's rate came on the 6th of January. It means that it came yesterday, 6th of January. That's when the rate came. If you go to Bank of Ghana's website today, you see the rate there. So let's look at the rate as published by Bank of Ghana yesterday. So for the 91 days or 3 months, the rate for the discounted is 26.3343, and the interest rate is 28.19. That's for 91 days. For 1 year or 364 days, the rate is 23.1664 for the interest rate, and for the discounted rate is 30.1514. And then for 6 months or 182 days is 25.2644, and then the interest rate is 28.9173. So that's the rate for this week as published by Bank of Ghana yesterday. And let me just take the opportunity to explain again the difference between discounted rate and interest rate. So when you go to buy Treasury bills, there are two rates that you see: discounted rate and the interest rate. By the layman's understanding, discounted rate here means that you are getting a lower rate than the interest rate. And why are you getting a lower rate than the interest rate? You are getting a lower rate than the interest rate because you are going to be paid your interest now. That's what we say upfront. So you are paid your interest now, and you have to wait for your principal to mature and get that maybe in 3 months' time or 6 months or 1 year. So because you are being paid now your interest, that rate is always lower than the interest rate. Now for some banks, if you go to the bank, they will give you the two options. So they give you either to choose at face or at cost. If you are given the option, then you can choose either you want the discounted rate or the interest rate. Some banks, they only do one type of rate, either the interest rate, which means that you only be paid your interest at the end of the period, or they do the discounted rate, which means that they pay your interest upfront and the principal will come when the duration is up. And how do you know that your interest has been paid upfront? If you choose a discounted rate, your account will be debited less the interest that you are supposed to enjoy on the investment. So let's say I'm doing 50,000 cedis and my interest is about 3,000. If I choose the discounted rate, what will happen is that the bank will debit 47,000 cedis from my account and will leave the 3,000 cedis in my account. That means that the 3,000 cedis in my account is the interest that I've earned because I went for discounted rate. However, if I go for the interest rate, they will debit all the 50,000 cedis, and when the investment matures, 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year, they will pay the 50,000 plus the 3,000 interest that I've accrued on the investment. So that's basically the difference between the discounted rate and the interest rate. And I hope that this explanation sits well. So sometimes people want to ask, how do I do Treasury bill? It's a simple process. You go to any bank, either you are in Ghana, you go to the bank, or you are outside Ghana, you contact the bank online that you want to do Treasury bills. The bank will give you 2 forms if it's your first time. They'll give you 2 forms to fill. The first form is to create a Treasury bill account. So you fill that form, and the second one is to fill the investment itself. Now, if it's your first time and you fill the 2 forms, the Treasury bill account that is going to be created for you, in layman's term, I'm just explaining so that it becomes very easy for us. That form will have to go through a process of approval. And if it's your first time, that process sometimes can take about a month, worst case scenario about 6 weeks. But usually it's between 2 weeks to 4 weeks. So when that account is created for you, that's when your account will be debited for the investment. So if I fill the form today for the very first time, it does not mean that my interest starts calculating today. My interest will start calculating the day that my account is debited. However, if you continue to do it, now it becomes instant. The investment matures. If you take rollover, the next day, they will credit your account today. The next day, they will debit again. Or sometimes they even do the debit the same day. It's only the first time that it takes a while before your account is debited, because a Treasury bill account will have to be created for you before the investment is done. And I hope this explanation is quite clear in terms of what Treasury bill comes with, the discounted rate, the interest rate, how you can do the investment. If you are outside, the same 2 forms will be sent to you. The only important document you need to be able to do treasury bill in Ghana is your Ghana card. That's the most important document, the Ghana card. If you don't have a Ghana card, trust me, you can't do treasury bill in Ghana. You can't even buy shares in Ghana. So that's the only thing. But if you have a Ghana card, then once you fill the treasury bill form, the two forms I'm talking about, then the investment will be done for you, whether you are in Ghana or outside Ghana.